is, y'all? We are on number 12 of the Monty Mentality podcast. That's right. We got Bunch with us once again.
Locked and loaded.
Crime.
We locked and loaded.
First of all, before we get started, shout out to Greenhouse Studios for the production and hosting this. Great place to be. We are very grateful for them. Like, subscribe, hit that bell button if you're watching on YouTube. Also, subscribe or follow on your podcast player. We are now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and a few others that I can't remember right now. But yeah, we are on audio now too. So if you can't listen on YouTube, well then, guess what? You can listen on your favorite audio podcast players. So
Pretty much there's no excuse not to cop.
correct. So on to the show though. Today, of course, we got to talk about the NBA playoffs. The second round been going crazy. So crazy, we not even going to really talk about the first round that much, with one big notable exception, which we'll get to at the beginning, and maybe a couple others.
If you're watching, I bet you can guess what what that exception is.
Or if you just even know anything about the host,
Yeah.
you know what the exception is.
Y'all know what it is.
But before we address that, and before we address round two, I should say, we are going to have to, unfortunately, address the thing that I'm talking about, which is we are going to have to eulogize the 2024-2025 Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm going to try not to enjoy this too much, be honest with you.
It is great for Bunch, not so great for me. But
Favorite
you know
time
me,
of the year, baby.
I don't run from the smoke. Okay, you see, if you watching on YouTube, you already know what time it is. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I got my Lakers shit on regardless. I wear my Lakers shit to work every day. I got the lanyard on 80% to 90% of the time. I got a Lakers hat on. Every now and again, I might throw on my Capitals or Commanders joint in there every now and again. But most of the time, it's Lakers shit. All right, everybody know me as the Laker nigga, and I'm not running from that, regardless of what happens. Nigga, I got Laker tags on my car when we was in the lottery every year, nigga. Back when we had motherfucking Robert Sacra, Brian Kelly.
Those were the days. I'm going to be honest with you. I miss those Laker days.
Like, you think I'm running from this Laker smoke? You crazy. But we'll get to that. But not only, though, will we, for this podcast, not only will we have NBA talk, which, yes, that's going to be most of it, but we're also going to have some Montyisms. And how much time we use up on the NBA stuff might determine how much Montyism you get as well. And spoiler, some of these Montyisms, well, actually, it's probably only like two real ones, but might also transition into some of the NBA talk. Which reminds me, Montyism number 1. That's what we're starting out with. And this is the theme of today. If you don't take nothing else from this podcast, the theme of the day is always be kind to yourself and others, even in the darkest of time, even when you are at your worst. Always be kind to yourself
that's a good one.
and to others. Plot switch to this one, though. Because sometimes kindness comes in the form of a kick in the ass. That's right. Now, when I say kick in the ass, that doesn't necessarily mean that you gotta be like blunt or whatever, right? Like there's a distinction between kindness and bluntness. Telling it like it is might be kindness, but it can also be rude or cruel, depending on your audience and also your delivery, right? So overall, the theme here is that pats on the back are nice and whatnot, but also sometimes a reminder to get your shit together can also be an act of kindness as well, whether it comes from the outside or the inside. When you know you fucking up or somebody else is fucking up, sometimes you gotta tell them like, hey, yo, that thing you doing, Shouldn't really be doing that. You know? Hey, you know you want this thing, but you doing this other thing. You need to start doing that thing that gets you closer to the thing that you want or don't want, right?
That's facts. There's a premium on having a good circle around you.
Correct. And again, like sometimes, like when it comes to what I'm talking about in terms of like kicking ass, like for example, sometimes it might be like, hey, yo, you acting like trash. And that's very simplistic, right? But like, or it could be like more like, hey, this thing you doing, that's not really working out for you too well. Or you laying it out for him to say like, hey, you might want to try this other thing or do this other thing, or you know you need to do this other thing, right? So I have a side story to this, right? So that I got from one of my fitness groups. I'm not going to say specifically where this guy got this from, just to protect the identity of the granted, I don't know who the other guy was at all, but on the 0.1% chance that the guy who is the part of the story actually hears this, I will not mention any of that. I will just say this.
You lucky I don't know who you are. No, I'm just kidding.
So there's a guy that he was using, let's say, a fitness app that was supposed to like track like his eating habits or whatever. And eventually he went and got a coach. It's because he wasn't getting like the results he wanted. So the coach, basically this guy, the coach notices that over a 3-week period, let's say you have an eating goal, right? So this guy failed to hit his eating goal to diet, to lose weight, 20 out of 21 days over a 3-week period. He only ate what he was supposed to total 1 day out of 21. Right?
So what niggas told him to give up and be fat? That's crazy.
So he didn't say that quite, but he did say, "Hey, look, let's try to get you to learn how to eat more moderately first, and then you can earn the right to cut down." Right? And he posted in this group.
You don't deserve to look good, nigga. That's crazy.
He posted in this group like, "Hey, this coach told me this, and I'm struggling to adjust to it." And he's like, he felt like it was toxic, and like or whatever. And it's like,
your life coach tell you to eat as much cake as you want. Go ahead, bro. You good.
He's like, "Hey, you need to learn habits at this sort of eating level before we get you to really like cut down for real." And he's like, "Oh man, like I felt like it was toxic and or whatever." And it's like, my guy, like he's actually trying to help you and say, "Hey, let's ease into this instead of you," because clearly trying to get you to eat on this low amount is right now it's not working. You got to establish your habits at an easier level before we get you to the next level. And that's the type of thing where I say, and also because it was probably in text, sometimes kindness in text can come off wrong versus, person to person or in video or whatever.
That's why you need a nigga to be just blunt with you. Hey, you're not as disciplined as you need to be. We're going to have to baby step your ass.
And sometimes, look, when you're trying to be kind to other people in that way, sometimes they're going to take it the wrong way and there's nothing you can do. And then at that point, it's their problem, not yours. But at least give it an honest attempt. But yeah, it's like sometimes kindness isn't always telling you what you want to hear. Sometimes it's the opposite. And, sometimes it's people telling you, "Hey, this ain't working. You might need to do this, or you might need to ease into it or whatever." So, it's not always just kissing your ass.
I don't think it's ever kissing your ass, but
I mean, I agree with that. But like, because to me, there's kissing ass and then there's genuinely, saying, "Hey, you doing some good shit," But it's genuine though. But, hey, sometimes you got to tell people to get their shit together. And speaking of telling people to get their shit together.
Jason Tatum, no, just kidding.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Right now, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the eulogy. But before we get to that real
My
quick,
favorite part of the show.
this is his favorite part. And related to that, now for those of you who are not watching on video.
Oh, actually, you know how it relates to the Lakers thing?
What's that?
Not only about like y'all being losers and shit like that, but you was talking about somebody who can't control his eating and is fat and overweight.
We'll get to that.
Oh, my bad.
We'll get to that.
My bad. There's just a parallel that I saw.
If for those of you who are listening and are not watching on video, there's a couple red cups up here. But don't worry about what's in these cups, okay? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what I'm
Mind your
drinking.
business. Liquid crack. Just kidding. Just kidding, Ma.
Just kidding. Prospective jobs or current job.
Oh shit, I forgot about them. I still got bills to pay. You right.
I got bills.
This
And
is high pH
I
balanced water.
need to pay, and I need more money for these loans. But anyway, don't worry about what's in this cup, okay? For all you know, it's just simply water, and I just need to hydrate myself. Don't worry about that, as well as bunch. It doesn't rhyme with Juan Fulio. No, don't worry about that. But anyway, the Lakers, we must eulogize them because, as we know, they lost in 5. God damn, I just dropped my phone. See how shit. See what these niggas make me do?
Stressing you out already.
Stressing me out, make me drop my phone, and I have to get up from the seat mid-podcast, put the timer back in my face so I know how much time we got.
You could always be a Sacramento fan. You see how I act. And got me out of pocket. That shit dead. I expect to lose.
But let's start off as far as the Lakers go. What went wrong? And of course, Bunch will interject with his commentary as he wishes.
I appreciate the freedom.
So first of all, I have everything here. So the first thing that went wrong, we could talk about all this other stuff like, they're not good at, and we'll get to some of that, like coaching potentially, defense rebounding, bench players, all that. But the number one reason why they got absolutely smacked, trucked by the Wolves, is very simple. The top 3 guys were not good enough. That is number one, first and foremost. The last podcast, I had this team as the number 4 playoff team out of technically 18 teams because there were still 2 teams alive when we recorded. But, and they, of course, they would have been number 4 of 16 playoff teams that made it. But at the end of the day, the premise of that was the offense would be absolutely unstoppable. And they were not. They were very strong.
That's a joke.
Now, sure, they only had 5, maybe 5.5 guys that were remotely reliable in a playoff rotation.
If you ask JJ Redick, you only had 5.
Right, take the half off.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like Luka, LeBron, and Reeves, for this team, the way they're built, they all have to be better than what they were. It's really that simple. We know Luka needs to get in shape, and yes, we'll get to that. But that was on full display during the entirety of that series. LeBron is 40, and he cannot bring that necessary energy game to game. Reeves was basically erased by Ant, Dante, and Mike fucking Conley, of all people. Third, Mike Conley is older than us.
That's ass.
Mike Conley's older than us, and this nigga was taking Reeves' lunch.
We were talking before the series started how Conley might not be playable.
Right. Not only was he playable, this nigga was like cooking our ass. Like, Reeves, give me this shit. And I'm about to also pop this 3 on your ass. Oh my God.
Now that the LeBron era is over, Reeves is expendable.
We'll get to that too, but even Gobert, like the idea, like, oh yeah, Gobert, they get him on the switch on the perimeter, and Luka's gonna cook, and that didn't happen. They were fine switching Rudy out there, and they didn't really get cooked for it. Now, granted, I do think Gobert's, the narrative that, he can't defend the perimeter is way overblown, but, like, if you're supposed to be this crazy, unstoppable offense, like, you got to be able to make something happen out of that, and they really weren't.
The crazy part about Gobert is, like, he gets criticized for giving up buckets on the perimeter, but it be the dudes that are, like, generational talent. Like, it's okay.
That is true.
Like, everybody gets cooked by these dudes. Like,
but also I will say, even though I'm talking about the top three, also the other thing is, they don't have enough good players. That kind of hurts. Minnesota has 8 starting caliber players.
And Luka weighs as much as 2 starting caliber players, but
I don't know if you're not watching on video, you can see my head hugging the microphone. But the Lakers might have 4.5 of those. 4.5 starting caliber players.
Luka being 2.5 of those players. Oh, Jesus. I'm just saying, that's not the numbers game you want to play, but that's facts. What we just talked about, being blunt and being honest. I'm being honest with you.
Bluntness is not kindness, but then again, I forget.
I'm not trying to be kind to you niggas.
I was gonna say, you already said what I was thinking. But also defense and rebounding, that's kind of important for the playoffs, and we didn't have that. But I said that on the last pod. So to be fair, I saw that part coming. I just didn't think it would get us bounced out the first fucking round. But hey, it is what it is.
One thing I'll say about the rebounding, and it's not about y'all. Even though Ant ain't been shooting the greatest in the playoffs, I think he's a better rebounder than I gave him credit for.
When he feels like it.
Well, when he feels like it, but that's the point. Like, he ain't been making a lot of shots, so he's been making up for it in other areas. Like rebounding being one of them. I'm like, all right, I respect that.
And then, I also think Minnesota was just an absolute awful matchup. And we should have seen that coming too.
I did.
The thing is, for one, on the offensive end, the Lakers like the mismatch hunt. Well, what happens when there's nobody to mismatch? Or you can't beat the mismatches? The supposed mismatch. Because the only really mismatch was Conley. And, Reeves couldn't do nothing with that. And then after that, again, Minnesota doesn't have any easy places to attack individually. So that was part of it.
They're about to trade Reeves to Atlanta for Capella or some shit.
We will get to that. Lakers like to bully guys, too. We like to play a bit of bully ball. Well, you know who loves to play bully ball? The Minnesota Timberwolves. That plays right into their hands. They're like, oh, bet.
Right.
We got that.
We got rid of Cat. We could do that now. Oh, my bad.
Even with Cat, they still would love that. But,
But
they
now
might
with Julius Randle, that shit's on steroids.
So, and the other thing is, we had no real stopper for Ant. Finney Smith is okay, but that's a little above his pay grade.
As a stopper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit above his pay grade. Vanderbilt, not totally quite. Vincent's a little too small. And then you add that with no rim protection. Yeah, Ant was going to eat. But again, I said that before the series. I just thought our offense could really just make up for that, but clearly not. So yeah. So the question now is, well, what's next?
Wait, can I shoot y'all some bail about the series before? No, seriously. It's not even sarcastic. One thing that I did like about LeBron is since he wasn't the number one option, I thought he made some good defensive plays. He was better defensively than I thought he could be at this age.
Well, that's the thing though, is that with LeBron, which I don't even think I have. Yeah, I don't even have LeBron listed here on the next part, but we can talk about that real quick. The thing is, LeBron will be 41 He will turn 41 during next season. The thing is that at this point in his career, I don't even think you want LeBron as your second offensive player if you're trying to like win for real.
No, I agree, but I think he should literally be the Draymond Green of the.
He should be something
league.
like that.
But he's still effective defense because he was making great defensive plays in that series, like at least in like the fourth quarter, and like clutch defensive plays that kept games at least close. And that's all just basketball IQ and shit like that.
I mean, also he's still one of the best. Even at 40, he's still one of the best athletes in the league. Now he's not.
Well, I'm not going that far, but he's got the size and strength to be a good defender.
I'm gonna say he's not one of the best athletes in the league. Do you?
Athletes, no.
Like in the league, like I ain't saying he's Ant or my sons.
No, I think there's a lot of athletes in the league. I just don't think they know. Never mind. I'm not getting into that. But like, I think he could play defense at a high level if he's not. Well, he could be a plus good defender if he's the third, fourth option offensively. I don't know if he wants to do that, but
I think he would be willing to do that. But
I know he's willing to be 2, but is he willing to be 4?
I mean, 4 probably not.
Like I'm literally talking about the Draymond role because Draymond is like damn near 6 something.
I'm honest.
But
Draymond's like 6, 7.
Yeah, like Draymond be having
with 4 other niggas on the court.
Yeah, So like if he could do that, I think, which is still crazy, but like
But I guess next season we might have to see. But they're probably not getting.
I assume you guys are gonna have a busy off season.
Oh yes, we are. But we'll get to that right now.
So then the other bit of bail I'll shoot is about Luka, like, because I saw one of his his post season like interviews talking about how like the drastic trade in the mid season was fucking with him mentally. He's like, I had the off season to kind of get myself together, so maybe in the off season he get mentally, because I think some of the fatigue, because he's always been kind of like big, but so is Jokic and some other dudes. Like that doesn't necessarily mean they're out of shape. Maybe some of his stuff was like mental,
little different,
mental and emotional. So like next season, which I hope it's not, but next season he might come back looking even crazier or like better. So
yeah, and we'll get to actually, like I said, that's the first thing talking about what's next. Everything that follows this means nothing if this first thing doesn't hit, which is that Luka does need to get in shape. We all know that. It has to be said again and again, though. But he has to get in better basketball shape.
He also was coming off an injury, right? Like, how much time he missed last year?
Total, probably he missed a month for the calf. And then he had to get in shape from that.
Yeah.
And even before that, he had missed some time back in like November or some shit like that. But so he definitely was struggling with that. And that probably gave Nico the opening to trade him, right? Because Nico was waiting for his chance, and he was like, "Bet, I got it now." Thank you, Nico.
That was still a mistake, Nico. But I hear you.
But yeah, he needs to get in shape, and I believe that he could be a top 10 player ever if he actually got in shape. That's how much I believe in him. But he has to do it.
Oh, I don't think that's a stretch at all.
But the beers and burgers got to take a back seat, okay? Or whatever the fuck he's eating. And next season, Luka, what I need before anything else that we talk about the Lakers need, the number one thing I need next season is I need Luka. When they say the MVP finalists, I need Luka to be one of those 3. You ain't got to win MVP, but he needs to be one of those 3 finalists.
Does he have one yet?
No.
That's crazy.
He's been in the top 3.
Last year, I'm assuming he was.
I think he was in the top 3 last year because, it was him. It was Jokic and Shea 1 and 2, and I think Luka was 3, I believe, last year. Yeah. So you need to be an MVP finalist. Okay? You ain't gotta win the fucking thing, but at least be a finalist.
No, he needs to win a few if he wants to be top 10 all time. But
well, I get that, but I'm saying like let's at the minimum threshold for the Lakers to be what they want to be.
Yeah.
He needs to be an MVP finalist. Okay. That's the only way that the Lakers can become a contender. Right there. And then Austin Reeves, trade block for you, my boy. Now, I appreciate what Reeves has brought to the Lakers, the way he's developed. I think he's really good. But he's a little bit duplicative with Luka. Yeah. And, like, if you're going to have someone that is like that, at the very least, they can't be a defensive liability. But he is. So I think that if the Lakers are trying to maximize their potential, both for next year and beyond, they need to see what's out there for Reeves. Because Reeves also can be a free agent, just like Luka actually can be a free agent in 2026. And Reeves almost definitely will be, because they technically could extend him, but the most they could extend him for is 4 years, like $89 million. There's no fucking way he's taking that. Like, not a chance in hell that he would sign that. If he signed that, his agent is a fucking idiot. Like, so, yeah. Like, you got to explore the trade market for him. And then...
He's going to Utah for Lloyd Markkanen. No, probably a black player.
I actually think him in Orlando makes some sense. But I don't know if he fits in their salary structure, though.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think the salary structure there would be tough because they're already paying. Paolo's about to get his max. Franz already got a max, and Suggs is highly paid. So
I just feel like Reed's going to one of these franchises stockpiling white players. So it's like Utah, Boston.
Obviously a center, duh, but not a Mark Williams type though. Someone who can actually rim. Well, he can rim run, but like. Also, protect the rim. Rim run and protect the rim. And rebounds would be nice as well. And also a perimeter stopper that can make an open three. You know, what, you think you're going to get that from LeBron full time? Luka, Reeves?
The center, what do you think about Miles Turner?
I would love Miles Turner.
Oh, okay.
I just don't think he's not in our price range. Because, you know, cap space and shit.
Yeah. I guess.
But yeah, DFS is a little underqualified for that your main perimeter stopper. Vanderbilt is too limited on offense. Plus, probably even still is underqualified, just even on defense as your main perimeter stopper. And Gabe is too small. And then JJ Redick needs more seasoning and less sass.
I'm saying a white dude needs more seasoning is funny.
Appropriate. Self-explanatory there. But my prediction, though, is we won't see the Lakers be a real title threat until
we die. I can't wait.
2026-27. Okay.
These niggas are going to be losing for a minute.
But enough on them. We're going to move to more joyful topics, such as being kind to yourself by knowing when you have your head in your ass and you're not doing what needs to be done to get to where you want to go. So you change course, which leads us to Mouse in the House. Oh, I got
my second favorite topic.
I got 6'1" Jalen Brunson on me. It's time for a step back. Oh, am I going to take him down to the post or go to the basket? Nah. Step back three. Whoop. Oh, clank. That's right. The Boston Celtics are down 0-2 to the New York Knicks. At least I get some joy out of it. Granted, this could all flip on its head pretty quick. But right now, we up.
About to say take it now.
We up. Let me take a shot of that. Oh, this ain't a shot. This is just hydrating.
It's holy water. Feel blessed that the Celtics are down 2-0.
But yeah, despite being massive favorites, the Celtics their season is in the balance tomorrow. Tatum and Jalen, woo, they been stanky. Woo.
Especially in the fourth quarter, boy. I'm shit.
But remember when we told y'all in the playoff preview, what was the Celtics' biggest weakness? Getting the offensive yips in the fourth quarter. And what they've been doing the last 2 games. Getting them yips in the fourth quarter.
They've been playing like the Boston Celtics.
They even got Cat looking tough out there. Kit Kat.
Yeah.
They got 17 rebounds. You let Cat get 17 rebounds on you in the playoff
Well, when
game?
you miss 83s, somebody got to get the rebound.
That's true. He's also playing decent defense and shit.
These niggas is 25 for 100.
That is an accurate number, guys. They are.
I'm not even exaggerating.
That is the precise number. They are 25 for 100 on threes in the first 2 games. That is precise.
And I actually, I'm not an analytic dude, but I saw a stat talking about they're shooting 28% on open threes.
Now that'll probably regress higher or progress to the mean in this case. But yeah.
Well, I think, probably, but I guess my question is why?
Why would it progress?
No, why is it that low? Like the Knicks aren't an overly physical team. Like if they was playing Detroit,
I mean, sometimes
sometimes
niggas just miss shots, but you know,
at home, like a seasoned team, like that's ass.
It is ass.
25 for 100, like that's crazy.
It is wild as fuck. But you know, how you blow a 20-point lead at home twice in 48 hours?
Because you're the Boston Celtics.
Diversify your portfolio. I'm not even anti-3 at all, like a lot of people are. But like, dog, like Jason Tatum in the corner. Okay, fine. Technically, you're open, but like, there's nobody under the basket. Why are you not attacking? I don't understand. Well, I do understand because they're like, we shoot threes. That's what we do.
I think it's deeper than that, but
like, I mean, granted, I hope you keep fucking up from a hater perspective, but I'm also unbiased. So I'm sitting here telling, like, yo, what are you doing? Like, go to the fucking rim when there's nobody there. Like, and even beyond that, forget about the idea of threes, twos, whatever. If you're up 20, right? Now, this is my analytical side kicking in, but with context. You're up 20, right? You want less variance, not more. So, if you're the team that's down 20, you want more threes to be shot kind of on both sides because it increases the variance, which increases the chances that you come back, right? Because if you're down 20, odds are you're going to lose. But if you increase the variance, that gives you more opportunities to win because more of those chances, more of those outcomes involve you winning. And so if you say, hey, let's take a few more high percentage shots, even if the expected points per possession is a bit lower because they're twos instead of threes, but we make a bit more of them, it's okay. Instead of continuing to keep going for the knockout punch every time, a few jabs is fine. A few jabs is fine. Jab, jab, jab. We up 20. We don't gotta hit him with the haymaker.
Them niggas just don't know how to fight,
with the crazy hook. You ain't gotta do an uppercut. Do a jab. Just do a few jabs. You good.
You live and die by the 3. That's what they're doing. It's ass, but
diversify your portfolio and stop being so stubborn with the threes. Okay.
I don't even think it's stubborn. I just think they're lazy.
It could be that too. Either way, stubborn, lazy, diversify your portfolio. However, for all the shit that we're talking, I actually still think the Celtics are going to win this series. Of course, if they lose tomorrow, then forget that. And I hope I look stupid.
And I think I'm still rooting for the Knicks. So
Oh, I'm still rooting for the Knicks, but my intellectual self, and in fact, FanDuel still has the Celtics favored to win
fuck
the
about
series.
FanDuel. I bet FanDuel has the Celtics shooting 200 more threes before the season over, or the series over.
They probably will, but
And they'll probably make 12 of them. Jalen Brunson giving us a 50 piece before the series over.
But like I said, I hope that looks stupid in a week, and I think they're still going to win this series. Please make me look stupid. Make me look stupid. The hater in me would appreciate it.
If the Lakers weren't in the league, the Celtics would be my least favorite team in the NBA. Like, not even close.
But, however, being kind may also include, this is a transition here, having honest evaluations about where you are mentally and in your life. I'll admit something about myself right now, real quick. A little vulnerability. I've been kind of down lately, the last few days especially, because things sometimes ain't feeling as they need to be. I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I feel like some shit gotta get together. And it be like that sometimes. Sometimes you gotta go to your boy and be like, yo, I ain't really feeling right? Well, there's also someone else that felt like that earlier this year. But now, and granted, it's not looking too good on our TV right now, but light-skinned Jesus coming into today is up 2-0. Right, Tyrese Halliburton.
My favorite player in the league. I took him off suspension.
But he had an article from Jared Weiss that was in the Athletic on the struggles.
Wait, that's who you was talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't piss me off.
What? Oh wait, what? No, not that.
Oh,
okay.
I was about to say, I just took this nigga all time out.
Not that. No,
Took this nigga off the bench.
Not that.
Okay,
That's another player.
All right, my bad.
That. But yeah, Jared Rice in the Athletic wrote an article on Halliburton, where Halliburton usually embraces like the hate and the spotlight and all of that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But like this especially early this season and even in the summer with the Olympics, where he re-aggravated his hamstring that took him out last year, and he came back too soon because he was trying to make all NBA, which he did, made himself an extra $40 million because of that. And he comes like this season, starts off slow. He usually likes to read all the negative comments because it fuels him, but it was becoming too much
because he's light skinned.
And it wasn't working no more. And then he went to one of his Drew Hanlon, one of his coaches, personal, not the Pacers, but to have a little reality chat. And then he had a big game against the Knicks because he had a 0-point game against the Knicks early in the season, like goose egg in the Garden. And then when he played them again at home, he had a 35-point game, and but it wasn't linear though. It wasn't linear. It was a process for him to get his swag back. But yeah, he was talking about his mental struggles, and sometimes we forget about that part. But that was important for him. So, and now look at him. He's up 2-0 now. Granted, they're getting their asses beat right now because the Caps got all their guys back. But
he's just a gentleman trying to make it interesting. Gentleman sweep. That's all.
True that. But yeah, Cleveland had a lot of guys hurt. That plays part of it. But also, Indy has become the king of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. They had that crazy comeback against Milwaukee. They had 2 comebacks in a week, being down 7 in the last minute and coming back to win. That is some wild shit.
That's what happens when you got a point guard leading the way. Like a real point guard.
All things are possible through Hallie, who strengthens you.
Light-skinned Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Unfortunately, not all can be strong, though, including certain hamstrings. And the hamstring we're talking about is Steph Curry. The Warriors, are they absolutely cooked? Because Steph is probably not probably.
Wait, hold on. Before you move to Steph, can I say one more thing about Halliburton?
Go ahead.
You 14.4% of the niggas in the NBA that voted him as most overrated. Y'all hate us.
I will not.
The nigga cooks.
Argue against that.
They was mad.
You know what that poll really is?
It was Jason Tatum being mad that Halliburton had more playoff time.
Actually, he mentioned
more Olympic time.
He mentioned that Tatum and Embiid are like two of his confidants that like he really respects and shit. So
that don't make them haters. That don't make them not haters. Tatum was like, this nigga talk too much. I'm putting him down most overrated.
Really, what that poll is who is the most annoying when they're busting your ass? That's what that poll really is. And yeah, I could see Halliburton winning that by a landslide. And he's gonna win that probably again next year, but we'll see. But yeah, are the Warriors cooked? Yes. Steph is out at least till Game 5 minimum, and I'd be surprised if he comes back in this series at all, because hamstring injuries. Them ain't nothing to play with. And
especially someone who runs as much as he do.
Correct. And the offense looks completely hopeless without him. Pause for the call. I gotta pause this ahead of time for this next comment. But playoff Jimmy butt cheeks.
Bruh.
He's working with one butt cheek right now.
Bruh.
Because he had the glute injury. That's why I had to pause that ahead of time.
Yeah, you did.
He eating good at the bank, but he's not saving anything.
That's crazy.
But this is the player I was talking about for the comment. He said, I don't really feel the need to live up to the expectation of playoff Jimmy. I'm just going to play the right way, and I don't really feel like I need to live up to that, and blah, blah. And it's like, do you see the team that you're dealing with right now? Like, you ain't got no Steph. Your number 2 option is what? Buddy Hield?
Yeah.
Like, my guy. You getting paid $60 million or whatever the fuck it is. Well, right now it's 50, or whatever. Like, the whole, I don't want to be playoff Jimmy. Well, he ain't say that, but like, I don't feel the need to live up to that. They need that nigga right now if they're going to try and at least extend the series to where Steph might come back.
If there's anybody I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to, is Jimmy Butler.
But yeah. But also, another quick tangent. Fucking Draymond Green talking about, I'm being tagged as the angry black man. Like, all right, Draymond. Like, do you not see your fucking rap sheet?
That nigga's retarded. I'm sorry.
Like, I ain't even going to expound too much on that. But can the Warriors win another game in this series to at least extend it to where Steph might come back?
Hell no.
My guess is nah. Hell no. To the no. To the no.
Them niggas better start thinking of their Cancun trips.
And that's too bad, because I think if Steph was healthy, I think they would have beat the Wolves. But,
It looks like it. They had a chance at least.
But hey, whatever. It is what it is. I think they present a different challenge to the Wolves than we did, for sure. But speaking of being challenged, we have the best player in the league versus the best team in the league by mass. Jokic, the god, to somehow beat a superior Clippers team in 7.
He's dressed like the Joker.
Oh, damn. And he's literally... No! Oh, we're watching this now. This nigga is literally dressed like the Joker.
He putting up 60 tonight. He putting up 60
I almost
tonight.
want to switch my pick in my pool to fucking...
He putting up 60,
this
20, and 20.
Right, 60, 20, and 20 is definitely on the way.
I'm about to hit up FanDuel right now.
No. I know it's retroactive by the time y'all hear this, but put all the overs on Jokic. This nigga is literally dressed like the Joker for tonight. But yeah, now it helped in the first round to be going against an unreliable Kawhi and James Harden. Though Kawhi did make it through the whole first round.
Shout out to James Harden for being an ass.
Well, he left
just like consistently.
He had a good game 6. That's a lot for James Harden.
He shot 8 times in game 7.
He left it all out there in game 6. He hadn't left game 7.
Well, let's start talking about him being out of shape like we are Luka. I ain't trying to defend no Lakers here, but I'm just saying.
However, OKC is a different beast, though.
They are.
But putting game 1 like that was nasty, which a quick rant. Get fouling up 3 out of my basketball, okay? NBA, this is a very easy fix, okay? If you are up 3 with the shot clock off and you intentionally foul, it's 1 shot and the ball. That's it. That's all you got to do. We do not, enough of the fouling up 3. We want to see teams have it. Play fucking defense. Play fucking defense and force them to make the time 3.
So I agree, but I don't think it happened enough where they're going to make a rule.
I think they will eventually, but we'll see.
Like if it happens more, but like it don't happen all that much, does it?
No, but again,
it's ass. But I hate when I do hate when coaches do it, but I don't think it's like a.
But yeah, they should be up 2-0 right now, but they just fucked all that up, that in the game situation.
That's why coaching matters.
But I do think OKC should still win this series. They just have too many buttons to push that Denver does not. Jokic might make them sweat though. Pause. But OKC again is still my title favorite. Remember, I had them as my number 1 team on the last pod, and that has not changed. But yeah, speaking of, well, before we move on, any other comments on that series?
After watching Jokic come out, I'm just looking forward to seeing what he do tonight. I don't think I was even gonna pay all that much attention tonight. I was gonna go the fuck to sleep, but I'm watching that.
But speaking of stress, we have what might be my favorite day of the whole NBA calendar, which is the NBA draft lottery. That's right.
Shout out to the Kings. We're gonna fumble again.
You might not even get a chance to fumble. Well, we'll see. You only have a 3-point-something% chance to fumble.
Oh my God. I hate these niggas.
But yeah, the big story, of course, is who's getting Cooper Flagg, who is a legit great number 1 pick. Now, the way we're going to do this draft lottery talk to start is I'm going to rank the team in order. So there's 13 teams in the lottery that could theoretically win. And I'm going to say, in order, who I want to win. So number 1, you'd be surprised by this as I'm locally located in D.C. I'm only a few stops away on the metro from Gallery Place. The Washington Wizards, duh. They have a 14% chance of getting Cooper Flagg. Of course, I want them to get number 1. But also, they're building some nice things there with the Wizards. Like, I actually think that they have a plan, and it's cool. So, it's not a bad spot for him to land. I'm sure a bunch agrees that the Wizards would be cool.
Yeah, if they get rid of Jordan Poole, I like it.
Number 2, the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, I would love that.
With that team, with that.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Squad.
I like that. That's my answer right there. I stole you. I'm cheating off your test.
Portland would be my number 2. Tanani Kamara, Scoot Anderson, Shaden Sharp, and his favorite boy, Denny Avdia.
That's my guy. Speaking of the Wizards, yeah, that's my guy.
My number 3, though this would hurt the Lakers' title chances in the future, especially in a way. The Houston Rockets. This is my unbiased, just basketball fan. Houston, that's right. Houston could get them.
How?
They have a 3.8% chance because they have the Phoenix Suns pick from the Kevin Durant trade. And the Nets traded it to them to get their pick back.
What Kevin Durant? Ooh.
So when Kevin Durant got traded to the Suns from the Nets, the Nets got the Suns picks for a few of their picks, right? And then this last summer, after the Nets traded Bridges to the Knicks, they traded with the Rockets to get a couple of their picks back from the Harden trade.
Mm.
So now the Rockets hold the Suns picks, and the Nets hold their own pick for this year, next year. So theoretically, Houston could come up roses.
It'd be a nice honor for them.
Number 4, Brooklyn. I would like to see Brooklyn just because, Barclays Center and all that, whatever. Here's a hot one. Philadelphia. Just to see what they would do from there. Charlotte, they have a 14% chance. Him and with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, what would happen? Toronto. That's my next one.
I can't
even.
I would hate that for him, but I could see that.
Utah's next, because marketing and
Danny Ainge.
Sacramento would be the next one. I'm sure a bunch would love that, even though they only have a 0.8%.
I'm not even getting my hopes up. I'm gonna act like I ain't even hit it.
Chicago. No. I ain't gonna say too much on that. Dallas, that would be hilarious after trading Luka.
That would be.
They actually technically they have a better chance than the Bulls did when they got Derrick Rose. I think. The 2 teams that I want to see the least, New Orleans, because reasons.
That'd be gross.
And the team I want to see the least, San Antonio. Good God, no, NBA. If San Antonio wins the lottery, do it over. Okay? You got to step in and be like, nah, we doing this shit over. All right? Or, hey, San Antonio, you could get number 2. But, because they draw for the top 4. But, yeah. No. Just, hey, NBA, no. Lottery gods, no.
I like your list. I really like, outside of, like you said, the bias for the Wizards, because he'll be here. I'd love to see him in Portland.
I said, Portland would be.
I would love to see him in Portland with Chauncey and that squad.
But the biggest subplot of the lottery is Philly, because their pick is top 6 protected. So if they fall to 7 or lower, it goes to Oklahoma City. Now imagine if Oklahoma City wins the championship and has like the 7th pick in the draft. That is very possible. That would be crazy. I think the chances of that pick going to 7 or lower is like 34% or something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a third.
It's almost like I think it's almost a third. I forget the exact number, but it's something like that. But the thing is, like, what do they do if they keep it? What do they do? What happens if they lose it? It'll be very interesting. I would be really interested what they do if it's not. If it's number 1, I don't think they're trading Cooper Flagg. So like, if it's not number 1, but say it's number 2 or 3, what do they do with it at that point? I'd be very interested to see that.
You know what I would do if they got the number 1 pick? Get rid of Embiid, get rid of Paul George, and start over.
That's what I would also do, but they're not going to do.
You have Maxey and Cooper Flagg, and you're just filling the pieces.
Especially because if you're trading Embiid and Paul George, you're probably not trading for positive value because their contracts. So.
You could probably get like a Chicago to take Embiid on.
I could see that.
Yeah, you'll find a franchise that be like, oh, we'll take him.
We'll take him, yeah.
Toronto.
Now, the last thing before we get to the close of the podcast, who needs to win this lottery or at least get a very high pick?
Portland.
I don't think they need it as bad.
That would
be nice.
I'm just putting it in the atmosphere. I'm trying to manifest.
But my answer for who needs it is Dallas for obvious reasons. And that will be my answer for next year as well. Because, the Luka trade, and they don't control their pick after next year for 4 years straight. That's why you don't trade Luka Doncic, Nico Harrison, but hey, you do what you do. Thank you, still. But teams that have at least a 10% chance, I would say Utah needs to win. Because, who their young guys are Kessler's cool, but the rest of them niggas is whatever. But yeah. Them teams are hoping that the ping pong balls are kind to them. And speaking of kindness, Montyism 1.5. Be kind to yourself means treating yourself well. But that's not just self-assurance, propping yourself up. It's also doing what you need to do that will bring you closer to peace. And that also might include not doing things that take you further away from peace. For me, I know I need to do things that will increase my earning potential right now. Studying, building up my portfolio, my skills to increase my earning potential, right? So I can relieve my financial stress and also live the way I want to live, right? Whether that's single or I get my girl. But for you, that could be a bunch of things. That could be, don't eat that cheat meal if they're holding you back. Because, people are like, oh, give yourself a break or whatever. Some of you don't need to hear that. Some of you need to hear, like, no, put them fries down, put that burger down, whatever.
There you go. That's that blunt shit we talk about.
It's not like that. That's not what you need. It's holding you back. Don't text or call that nigga. All right? Don't reply to his text. Don't call him. Don't talk. Nothing. Or lady. We are gender inclusive here. Not going to leave it to one specific type. Right? But if they're stressing you out, do not entertain them. Leave them alone. Stop skipping the gym when you got body goals. Do the things that make you feel better about yourself after you've done them. Clean that house. Call your mama. Look out for your nieces and nephews. Be productive at work. Take steps closer to the life that you want to have. Continue to do things that are in alignment with the vision of the life you have for yourself. All things that can be part of the kindness to yourself. And actually, we do have time. Well, you have anything to add to that before we go to the end of the podcast, the last thing?
Oh, God. That's all I got.
Let me take one last swig of my water. Mexican water, perhaps. Montyism number 2 to close. Don't tailor yourself trying to fit people's preferences, especially as a man. It's a waste of time. So, to have a quick tangent, there was a before and after of a guy that was in good shape. And then he went to like being super cut up, right? That's kind of like what I'm going through right now. Now, granted, I was in better shape than him in the before. I don't know if I'll be better shape in the after, but we'll see. But the women preferred the before. They prefer the thicker, a little more, I don't want to say flabby, because he was in good shape in the before, but just not crazy, right? But I'm going to tell you why it does not matter. And in fact, my guy Bunch once said, you know what body type women prefer? The body type the nigga they like.
Facts.
But besides that, I said when women say they like dad bods, and Dom Mazzetti said this, granted he's satire, but he was spitting for real. He said, look, they're not really saying that the guy whose body looks like beat mashed potatoes is hotter than the guy that looks like a Greek god. That's not what they're really telling you. What they're really telling you is the dad bod in their minds represents somebody that's going to be more loyal, more nurturing, more willing to have fun. Like, say he'll be more willing to have drinks. Oh wait, this is water. What I'm talking about. More willing to eat certain things and share more things with him and shit like that. He's not gonna be as obsessed with his body or fitness or whatever. Like, they're gonna be more well-rounded, have more fun, etc. They're not saying that visually, because men get that confused. That visually, that dad bod is sexier. They're not really saying that, especially when you actually listen to them, when you hear them explain it. Like, just listen to them. They'll be like, oh yeah, he's gonna be, he's not gonna eat a certain way or do this or that. That's what they're really saying. But I think they're wrong on that because obviously, I'm a guy that stays pretty lean all the time. And I'm like, hey, I be having fun and shit. Like, I'm not really about that. I mean, I'm about, serious fitness, but I'm not like, oh, I can't have a drink. I can't, have fun on the weekends and shit. Like, but they have to get to know you to know that, right? And ultimately, once women see you for who you are, and this is important, they know that you really like them, all that shit go out the window. All of a sudden, now you're gonna be the sexiest nigga alive. Cause now you got the personality, the ability to provide, the ability to give them the fun, and you got the ad. They be like, oh, this is all the time. Oh God. Like, so fellas, the message serious, get those abs, okay? Don't worry about what the women be saying on the internet, okay? Reach them body goals that you want. But in all seriousness, no. The true Montyism here, which I've said before, is feminine leading women love 3 things in a man. And I got this from Dr. Robert Glover, which he got from somewhere else. I forget where. But basically, and the young boys is the ones that really need to hear this. But when I say young, I'm talking about like under like 23. But comfortable in your own skin, know where you're going, and look like you're having fun getting there. You got those 3 things, chances are you're going to come off as pretty attractive. And since we're already over time.
Pretty much what he's saying is, women, y'all going to take what he's giving. Don't start asking for shit. Those are his words, not mine. Don't crucify me.
Yeah. I ain't going to say all that. But I do have a bonus dating thought, though, that's also another hot take before we get off. Stop trying to get women to date men that they don't like or that's not their type. If she's used to street or toxic type of guys, she's not going to be into quote unquote squares or what we would say are normal guys. If you like guys that are like street niggas or scammers or truckers or whatever, over here, you ain't going to have nothing over here. Like, don't even look this way. We ain't got nothing for you. Like, if that's what you're used to, if that's what you like, hey, go do what you do, but it ain't gonna be over here.